This one that this woman is singing joyfully this morning, she will soon start crying like always. She sang while sweeping. She hummed while cooking. She would spread clothes all over the floor so his knees wouldn't touch the cold ground. In the quiet village of Umudim lived a woman called Mama Chika. Her real name was Nnenna, but everyone called her Mama Chika. Not because she had a child, but because she had faith. For 16 years, Mama Chika lived with her husband, Pa Okoro, in their small mud house. Every morning, she would go to the stream, sweep the compound, and then sit on the wooden bench inside her house. She would look at the children playing in the dust and smile. But her smile was often followed by tears. She had no child of her own. Every Sunday, she sat in the front row at St. Peter's Catholic Church, wearing her best wrapper. While others danced and clapped, she always knelt down, whispering the same prayers. Dear God, even if it's just one child, let me feel what it means to be called a mother. Some women in the village mocked her. Some said she was cursed. Others gave her names like Nwanye Fulefu, a woman who wasted her bride price. But Mama Chika never answered them. She just cried in secret and prayed even louder. Her husband, Pa Okoro, tried to stay strong, but sometimes she would hear her cry late at night. He wanted a child too, but he tried as much as possible to be the shoulder his wife would lean on. One morning, as Mama Chika woke up, she woke up before the rooster crowed. Her body felt light. Her face, which had always been full of worry lines, looked calm for the first time in 16 years. She sat on her mat and whispered, God, is it today? Are you doing something I can't see? She went outside and swept her compound. The neighbors were watching her with curiosity. This one that this woman is singing joyfully this morning, she will soon start crying like always. But Mama Chika didn't mind them. She just kept singing. By evening, Mama Chika began to feel feverish. Eventually, they visited the local hospital, and it was confirmed that Mama Chika was pregnant. Her joy knew no bound. Pa Okoro was so excited. Finally, he's going to be a father. Mama Chika nurtured the pregnancy with her life. And in 9 months' time, she gave birth to a bouncing baby boy and then named him Chika, which means God is the greatest. Inside the house, Mama Chika held her son close. She didn't want to let him go. She stared at him. She laughed and cried all at once. She kissed his forehead gently and said, I will never let anything happen to you. Pa Okoro stood by the door, arms folded, beaming with pride. The gods have smiled on us, he said. From that day on, everything changed. Mama Chika stopped going to the market as often. She stopped farming for long hours. She poured all her energy into her son. If Chika sneezed, she would call the nurse. If Chika refused food, she would cry. If someone tried to carry him, she watched like a hawk. Be careful with his neck. Don't bounce him too much. Wash your hands first, she was always saying. Even when he began crawling, she would spread clothes all over the floor so his knees wouldn't touch the cold ground. Chika became her world. Every morning, she bathed him with warm water and sang him a special song. As Chika grew up, he noticed how his mother treated him like royalty. He clapped his hands, laughed loudly, and knew one thing: he was special. When he turned 4 and broke someone's pot while playing, Mama Chika shouted at the woman who complained, Don't raise your voice at my son. He's just a child. Is it not common pot? Little by little, Chika began to learn that he could do anything and get away with it because Mama would always defend him. By the time Chika turned 5, he was already known all over Umudim village. not just as the miracle child, but also as the boy nobody could touch. Other children were doing house chores. They fetched firewood, helped their mothers, and even carried small basins of garri. But not Chika. He was always clean, playing and resting. While his mates were learning to be responsible, Mama Chika made sure Chika never lifted a finger. Don't go outside when the sun is hot. Do you want to injure yourself? Don't touch that broom. You don't have to sweep. Even when Chika wanted to try things for himself, like pouring water from the pot or climbing the small guava tree, his mother would rush out shouting, "No, you will fall. You will break something. Chika, please stay inside." At first, the villagers admired her. She suffered too much after all. Let her enjoy her miracle. But as years passed, they started shaking their heads. This Chika boy will not hear word though. One elder said, "This kind of training will bring problem." But no one could correct Chika, not even his teachers. When he started primary school, Chika refused to do classwork. If his class teacher scolds him, Mama Chika will storm the school the next day. "How dare you beat my son? Is he your mate? Is it not the reason you people still have job here?" From that day, the teachers left Chika alone. They just gave him small marks and promoted him to avoid trouble with his mother. At home, if Chika spilled water or broke a cup, Mama Chika will laugh. "Don't worry, my son. Let me clean it, my son." As the years passed, Chika moved from being a sweet little boy to a small king in the house. He was just 10 years old though, but his words sounded like commands. "Mama, I don't want yam today. Bring me rice. I'm not sweeping. It's not my work. Don't wake me early. I am tired." At first, Mama Chika would laugh and say, "He's playful. He will grow out of it." But Chika didn't grow out of it. He grew into it. Chika became a very rude boy. He didn't greet elders. Each time she gets a report about her son for one reason or the other, she will boldly say, "Is it your child? Leave my son alone. You don't know what I went through to have him." Even Pa Okoro, her husband, Chika's father, grew worried. To everyone else, Chika was spoilt, but to his mother, he was perfect. When people tried to warn Mama Chika, she pushed them away. "Keep your mouth shut. You don't know what it is to wait for 16 years for a child." Even Pa Okoro, now older and quiet, could only shake his head in sorrow. "He's our only son," he whispered once. "But maybe, just maybe, we failed him." Mama Chika didn't want to hear that. She covered her ears and said, "No, Chika will make us proud. He will go to the university. He will wear a gown and shake the governor's hand. Watch and see." And so, the family kept living on hope. Hope that Chika would suddenly change. Hope that his failure was just a phase. Hope that love alone was enough. When Chika finished secondary school, Mama Chika danced like never before. "My son is going to the university," oh, she shouted with joy. "God has done it for me. The boy people laughed at me for is now entering higher institution." Everyone in Umudim village heard the news. Some people smiled with her. Some said, "Let's see if he will finish." But Mama Chika didn't care. She was focused on one thing. Chika must graduate. She sold her last set of George wrappers, the ones she kept from her wedding. She took a small loan from the cooperative society just to ensure that Chika went to the university. The next day, Mama Chika packed Chika's bag herself. She hugged him tight and whispered, "Don't disappoint me. Study well. I know you will make me proud." And Chika nodded lazily. He hugged her back and boarded a bus to Oka, the city where his new life would begin. When Chika got to Oka, he was shocked. For the first few weeks, he tried to blend in, but lectures were hard. His classmates were serious. He couldn't understand many things. He started skipping classes again, just like in secondary school. He met a group of friends who liked parties, betting, and online fraud. One of them said, "Guy, forget about this book thing. You don't need certificates to make money." At first, Chika refused, but one night he followed them to a party. He tasted alcohol for the first time, and he felt good. They gave him a phone and showed him how to message people, pretending to be lovers. Soon, Chika stopped attending lectures completely. He told himself, I will go back next semester. I just need time. But that semester turned to a full year. Then 2 years. Then 3 years. Yet, every month, Mama Chika sent money. Have you paid your school fees? Yes, Mama. Are you doing well? Yes, Mama. Do you attend lectures? Yes, Mama. I even got A's in 2 courses. But all of it was a lie. He was no longer a student. He wasn't even allowed inside the school again. But Mama Chika didn't know. She believed every word. Even sometimes, if they couldn't afford school fees, she always collected loan and did menial jobs just for Chika to go to school. She kept suffering in silence, taking loans, skipping meals just so her graduate son would not lack anything. 4 years had passed. Back in Umudim village, Mama Chika was already preparing her victory dance. My son is graduating, she told everyone. She sang while sweeping. She hummed while cooking. She smiled even in her sleep. Chika had called and said, Mama, I'll be graduating next month. I need money for my gown, final clearance and convocation pictures. Mama Chika's heart almost burst with joy. She didn't even ask how or when he passed his exams. She just believed him. She rushed to the cooperative again. I need some money, please. My son is graduating. She went to the market, bought a beautiful red and gold wrapper for the occasion. She even gave her old friend, Taylor Ifoma, money to sew a matching blouse. I want to shine like the sun. I suffered for this boy. She called the village announcer to invite everyone. The plan was simple. She will have a big Thanksgiving in church, a party in the compound with enough jollof rice and meat. She even paid for a small band to play live. The excitement in the village was like Christmas. This is Mama Chika's season, they said. But far away in Oka, Chika was panicking. He hadn't been a student in 3 years. No ID card, no student record, nothing. He wanted to come clean, but fear held him like a chain. If I tell her the truth, she would die, he thought to himself. He stayed quiet until the night before the celebration. That night, Chika came back to the village looking lean and restless. He didn't touch his food. He avoided eye contact. Mama Chika noticed. My son, are you okay? You are not happy. Is something wrong? Chika's lips trembled. His eyes filled with tears. He went down on his knees. Mama, he said. She looked confused. What is it? Mama, I didn't graduate. Silence. What did you say? I dropped out since 100 level. I left school years ago. I lied to you. I spent the money you sent. I joined bad friends. I didn't know how to tell you. I'm sorry, Mama. Mama Chika froze. Her wrapper slipped from her waist. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. The world around her became quiet. The noise from the goats, the chatter of the neighbors, even the birds, all silent. She held her chest and dropped slowly to the wooden bench. You mean all this time, all my suffering, all the loans, all the prayers, it was all a lie? Chika wept and held her feet. Mama, forgive me. But Mama Chika was not hearing him again. Her mind was somewhere else. The sun rose gently over Umudim village, lighting up the compound of Mama Chika. There were sounds of drums. Smoke rose from the backyard where meat was roasting. Coolers lined the wall. Visitors were arriving with gifts, wrappers, and other things. Inside the house, Mama Chika sat on the floor in silence. Her head was bare. Her wrapper was loose. Her heart was broken. Chika was kneeling beside her, still crying. He had not moved since the night before. Mama, please, say something. But Mama Chika had cried too much to speak. Her voice was gone. Her tears were dry. Then she stood up quietly and tied a wrapper around her waist. She opened the door. Drums stopped. Voices quiet. All eyes turned to her. She stepped into the middle of the crowd. The pastors, the tailor, her neighbor, even the women who once mocked her barrenness were all there. She raised her hand. "My people," she said. Her voice cracked. They waited. "I came here today not to celebrate, but to confess," Momo started. "My son lied to me. There is no graduation. He never went past 100 level. Everything I told you was based on what I believed. But now I know the truth." Gasps echoed through the crowd. One woman dropped her spoon. The drummer slowly lowered his talking drum, but Mama Chika didn't cry again. She continued. "I stand here today not as the proud mother of a graduate, but as a mother who tried her best. If I must be laughed at, let it be for truth, not for lies." Then she looked up to the sky and whispered, "God, you gave me this child. Now I give him back to you. Help him become a man, even after his mistakes." She turned to Chika, who had now come outside with swollen eyes. Some people laughed, some whispered shame, but one woman, Auntie Nneka, stepped forward and held Mama Chika's hands. "You are a strong woman," she said. "You spoke the truth when you could have hidden. That's real courage." Then she looked at Chika. "Are you ready to fix your life?" Chika nodded slowly. His pride was gone. His shame was full. But something had shifted in that moment. Something that looked like hope. After Mama Chika told the truth before the whole village, something inside Chika broke and something else began to heal. No more lies. No more free money. No more pity. With the help of Auntie Nneka and Uncle Ebuka, Chika was enrolled in a solar installation training in town. He didn't like it at first, but Mama Chika stood firm. If you want to eat, you must work. Slowly, Chika began to change. He learned how to fix panels, wire homes, and install batteries. He worked under the sun, got burnt, got tired, but grew up. 2 years later, Chika returned home with his first real pay. He knelt down and said, "Mama, I failed you, but now I want to make you proud the right way. Mama, please, this is my first pay ever since. I want you to take this money and use it to pay all the debts, all the loans you collected because of me." Mama Chika laughed and hugged him with tears in her eyes. She had lost her dream of a graduation, but she gained something better, a son who finally became a man. And that was how the story of Mama Chika ended. The moral of this story is this: love without discipline destroys. Don't cover up your child's wrongs. Correct them early. Truth may bring shame, but it also brings healing. It's never too late to start again. With honesty, of course. This story is a reminder to every parent and every young person. Lies can build a big house, but truth is what keeps the roof from falling. Thank you so much for listening to my story. My name is Onye of Onye Stories and Folktales. And please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly click on the subscribe button, turn on the notifications so when I post more interesting stories, you'll be the first to get them. And if you're a returning subscriber, hey, thank you so much for listening to my stories. Thank you for your consistent support. I do not take it for granted. And trust me when I say I have loads and loads of interesting stories that you will love. Kindly take a popcorn, relax, and enjoy different life lesson filled stories that I have on my channel. Trust me, you will love them. I'm sorry about the glitch in my voice in this particular story. I'm a bit down. I'm under the weather. I have cold, so I'm struggling to voice the story. But thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. Until I see you next